So we are starting now today the next topic, residential status. And what we have covered till today is calculation of tax. And now I think you can attempt the questions of calculation of tax. Gradually we will get perfection when we will do more practice. So previous year, assessment year, these two terms are clear. Then special income, special tax rates are clear. 5 special incomes are there and 5 special tax rates are there. So we have done that also. Normal tax slab for all the 3 category of individuals is clear. Slab of HUF is clear. Partnership firm tax rate flat is clear. I have also discussed with you the meaning of rebate under section 87A, calculation of rebate under section 87A, surcharge having different rates, and marginal relief. That concept I have also discussed with you. Health and education cess has already been discussed. So with this, almost 95 to 97% of tax calculation is clear. And gradually, with practice, of course, we will get perfection. Now I am starting with a new concept, residential status. But before that, I would like to ask a question. If I earn some income in USA, United States, or if I earn some income in France, will I pay the tax in India on that income or not? If I earn some income in France for 2 months, for example, I have gone to France, for example, and I earned some incomes from lectures in France in these 2 months. I came back to India. Will I pay that? Will I pay tax on that income which I earned in France in these 2 months? What do you think?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Any other answer?
Yes.
Why yes?
You were a resident of India.
So what? So what? Just because I am resident, it means that I will pay the tax on those incomes which I earned outside India. Any other answer? Suppose I earn income of 7 lakh rupees in France for 2 months, staying there in France. I must have paid the tax in France also. Am I right or not? Please raise your hand if you agree on this point. I must have paid the tax in France also, because their government will say that you earn the income there and you pay the tax. So will I be paying the tax again in India also? This was my question. Any viewpoint on this?
So you might, but then relief exists to not have you pay double taxes.
Yes. So the point is correct, that yes, since I was a resident, I have to pay tax in India. So the student who told this point, she was also correct. But it becomes double taxed then. Same income taxed twice in France as well as in India. Then Indian government gives you some relief if you remember those 3 sections 90, 90A and 91, which are not in our course.
Let's not delete it. Let's keep it in the pipeline.
अरे पाइपलाइन में तो बाद में रखेंगे, पहले आप माइक अपना म्यूट कीजिए. Yes. So relief is not in our course, but yes, there are situations where income is double taxed. Now there are some incomes which are not taxed. For example, if I am a non-resident, and if I go to France and earn some income there, I received the income there, and that was my, for example, lecture income. In that case, I will not pay the tax. In that case, I will not pay the tax in India because I am a non-resident. So the point which I wanted to discuss here is that how do you know which income is taxable in India and which income is not taxable in India? How do you know this? Just because I'm an individual, it doesn't mean that I know this concept that this income is taxed in India or not taxable. I have to check my residential status. I have to check whether I am a resident or non-resident. Only then the next question arises that now which incomes are taxable for this resident individual and which income is not taxable for this non-resident individual. So let me share with you the screen now. Is the screen visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I'm starting now the topic of residential status. And this chapter will be divided in two different portions. In first stage, I will learn that how do we determine the residential status. How do we determine the residential status of whom? There are 7 persons, so you can determine the status of those 7 persons only. Who are those 7 persons? Do you remember? Individual, HUF, firm, company, local authority, association of person, and body of individual, and artificial juridical person. These are 7 people. I will check. I will tell you how to check, but first job is what? My first job is I will check whether this person is resident or non-resident, whether this individual is resident or non-resident, whether this firm is resident or non-resident. Though these 4 are not in our course, but as far as residential status is concerned, these are in our course. We will not compute the income and tax liability of these 4 persons, but when it comes to residential status, we must know the provisions of determining the residential status of even these 4 persons which are not in our course otherwise. Whether this company is resident, non-resident, local authority resident, non-resident, AOP and BOI resident, non-resident, artificial juridical person resident or non-resident. Now, these 5 people form once they have become resident, then you have to further check that these 2, if they have become resident, you have to further check, are they resident and ordinarily resident or resident but not ordinarily resident? Okay, so abbreviation is what? R means resident, NR means non-resident, ROR means, can you tell me what OR means? Resident and ordinarily. Yes, ordinary. अरे यार तुमने मेरी स्पेलिंग गलत करा दी बोल के. Resident and ordinarily resident. अरे क्या हो रहा है, मैं इसकी स्पेलिंग नहीं लिख पा रहा हूँ. ज्यादा स्पेस बचाने के चक्कर में ना स्पेलिंग मुझे अब चेक करनी पड़ेगी। आई गॉट कंफ्यूज्ड। क्या है इसकी स्पेलिंग? रेजिडेंट बट नॉट ऑर्डिनरी रेजिडेंट। Spelling you have to check. I got confused. What is the exact spelling? Ordinarily resident. Anyhow, let me check. DI है, DI I think. Ordinarily DI है, शायद DI ही होना चाहिए। यही होगा, इसको बाद में चेक करेंगे। But it will be ordinarily resident. Okay, spelling यही है इसकी। देखो कंफ्यूज करा दिया आपने बोल के बीच में। Ordinarily यही होनी चाहिए। We will check. OR resident and ordinarily resident. चेक कर लेंगे।
Yes, sir.
यही है ना शायद। देखो ये कंफ्यूजन हो जाता है, तो यही होनी चाहिए। ठीक है, ROR and RNR. So individual and HUF, these two, if these have become resident, I have to further see whether these are resident and ordinarily resident or resident but not ordinarily resident. You cannot remain at R only, resident only, as far as these two people are concerned. Now, how do we determine that? That I will tell you now. But this is the first part of this chapter. Now, once you know that whether someone is ROR or RNOR or NR, when you know, then your next job starts. Scope of total income. Your next job starts, and that is what? Scope of total income. Scope of total income means now, because of residential status, you will get to know which income is taxable for this person, for this person, for this person. Like I gave you the example of, for example, I'm doing some job in Germany for 2 months. So I earned the income in Germany, and suppose while I was in Germany, I received the income there itself. So this income is not taxable for NR, but this income will be taxable for ROR. This income will not be taxable for RNOR. So these are different provisions. So there are some income which are taxable for ROR, which are not taxable for RNOR, and which are not taxable for NR. Similarly, there are some incomes which are taxable for ROR as well as for RNOR and not taxable for NR. There are some incomes which are taxable for ROR as well as for RNOR and as well as for NR. So that is my second portion. Today I will not discuss the scope of total income. First, you must know how do we determine the residential status. So I am starting now with this topic first. It is nothing but section 6 of the Income Tax Act, and the scope of total income is nothing but written in section 5 of the Income Tax Act. So I'm starting now section 6. I hope the basic structure is clear that what is the relevance of determining the status. This is the main relevant chapter, you can say, because until unless you know the residential status, you will not be able to check which income is taxable to this individual, particular individual. So now the main thing is determination of residential status of an individual. Now there are some conditions. So I'm using section 6 clause 1. These sections are not necessary for you to learn. You can, so let us, if I'm writing, then it doesn't mean that you have to learn these sections. I will tell you those sections which you have to learn, or automatically you will get to know those sections which are by default learned by you. Like section 111A, I'm sure you will never forget. Section 112A, you will never forget. Section 112, tax on LTCs, you will never forget. So by default, those sections which are commonly used are automatically learned by the person who study the income tax. So how do we determine the residential status of individuals? So we will check some conditions for that. So I'm using the word basic condition, but do remember that Income Tax Act is not using the word basic condition. There is no such word basic condition, but authors throughout India have framed this basic condition type of concept because it makes the concept a little bit easy. That's it. Now, what is my first basic condition? Now, can you tell me for which previous year I will determine the residential status? For your course, which is the previous year for which you will determine the status?
2020 to 2021.
Yes, of course. Yes, everything will be of 2021. Am I right? If I say previous year, by default, it is assessment year 21-22. This is sure. Now, what is basic condition? If I am present in India, when I am using the word he means individual, not only male. In the acts, he represent individual. So he means male or female or whatever. He is present in India for a period of 180 days, 2 days or more. During the relevant previous year. What is my relevant previous year? 2021. If I'm determining the status of 2021, then my relevant year is 2021. If I'm determining the status of 2011-12, then my relevant year becomes 2011-12. So it depends for which year you are determining the status. In that year, if you are present for 182 days or more in India, then what will happen? I'm not telling. I'm only explaining this condition, that this is this first condition. We have second condition also. He is present in India. If not 180, at least 60 for a period of 60 days or more during the relevant previous year, and as well as, that means, and 365 days or more during 4 years immediately preceding the relevant year. Immediately preceding the relevant previous year. So what is the second basic condition? That in the previous year, if you are not present for 182 days or more, then we have another condition also, at least 16 days or more, but at the same time, last 4 years, excluding this year, current year, the presence must be at least 365 days or more. These are basic conditions. Now, what are the rules of residential status of individual? So these are the rules. Who is resident? I'm only talking about individual, do remember. Don't apply these rules for other assesses or other persons. Individual who is resident must satisfy at least one of the basic. must satisfy at least one of the basic conditions. That means it is necessary for an individual to be resident. If to be resident, he or she must satisfy at least one of the basic conditions. Then next question starts. If someone has become resident, he has to be either ROR or RNOR. So who is resident and ordinarily resident? Of course, first to be ordinary or not ordinary, that person must be resident first. And for resident, already I have written the condition above, must satisfy at least what? One of the basic conditions. And what? Both of the additional conditions. So those I will tell you later on, but you must know the rules. Both of the additional conditions. Third, who will be resident and not ordinarily resident? Can you frame the language yourself? Can you try to frame the language yourself? You can frame if you make some attempt. Can you tell me what should be the rules now for resident logically and not ordinarily resident?
Must satisfy at least one of the basic conditions and at least one of the additional conditions. Just a guess.
Must satisfy at least one of the basic conditions, because this first line will make me resident. This is correct. And what? And what? And what?
At least one of the additional conditions.
No. No.
At most one additional.
Yes. I can say, because if you say at least, then if both the conditions are satisfied, you become ROR. So at most one, or I can simplify further. I can say and one or none of the additional conditions. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Because once a person, if has become resident, then for ROR or RNOR, there are two additional conditions, additional 1, additional 2. Suppose you satisfy only 1 and not 2, you remain RNOR, and if you don't satisfy even 1 also, again you will remain RNOR, because already you have become resident. So for ROR, both additional is required. So it does not matter now if you satisfy one additional or none of the additional, you remain RNOR. I hope the point is clear. Non-resident. Now, can you tell me the rules of non-resident logically? What? Must not satisfy both of the, what I should write, both of the
Basic conditions.
Basic conditions. He should not satisfy any of the basic, not any, he should not satisfy both the basic. Then the person will become non-resident. These are the rules. Please raise your hand if the concept is clear. Hurry up. If the concept is clear, please raise your hands. What about others? Those who have understood, please raise your hands. Okay, next point now. This basic condition number 2 is not applicable in two situations. So that means there are some exceptions of this basic condition 2. Non-applicability. Of basic condition 2 in the following two situations. So I will tell you now two situations or two possibilities where you cannot check basic condition 2. That means your entire decision of resident or non-resident will be dependent fully and fully on basic condition number 1 of 182 or more. You cannot check 60-day or more in these two situations. So what is my situation number 1? What is situation 1? An Indian citizen. If you are an Indian citizen who leaves India, leaves means who are living, not living, leaving, who leaves India during the relevant previous year. Relevant means the year for which you are determining the status, that's it. Either as a member of crew of an Indian ship or for the purpose of employment outside India. So if you are an Indian citizen, if you are a foreign citizen, then you cannot apply this situation. If you are an Indian citizen and suppose in the previous year 2021 you have some situation has arisen in which you have to leave India. What is that situation? Are you leaving India? Are you leaving India as a member of crew of an Indian ship? Because in those people who are in merchant navy, they must be going for their job as a member of crew of an Indian ship. And if not as a member of crew of an Indian ship, I can go outside India. For example, in UK, I am going for some job for the purpose of employment outside India. So in these two types of leaving, you cannot check 60-day condition. You have only 182 days to decide whether you are resident or non-resident. Similarly, one more situation is there. Situation 1 is telling those people who are leaving, going out. Situation 2 is telling those regarding those people who are coming, going in. So it is what? An Indian citizen or now in this case one more category is covered, or a person of Indian origin. PIO, or a person of Indian origin who comes on a visit to India during the relevant previous year. Okay, this is situation 2 when an Indian citizen or a person of Indian origin who is coming on a visit. In situation 1, someone is leaving. Situation 2, someone is coming. So next question arises in your mind. Now, have you noted down this thing? Shall I proceed to the next slide, or you want to note it down something? You want me to wait for 1 to 2 minutes?
Sir, one question.
No. Question later on. You want to note it down, or you want me to proceed? That's it. No question till I discuss the concept, because most of the questions will get clear the moment I start solving some numericals. So no question for the timing. Let me proceed now. Now, question arises, what do you mean by a person of Indian origin? Who are PIOs, meaning of person of Indian origin? Now, I'm not going to the general definition of PIO. I will use the definition which is relevant for Income Tax Act. A person is deemed to be a person of Indian origin, or a person is treated as a person of Indian origin if his or her parents or grandparents were born in undivided India. A person is deemed to be a person of Indian origin if his or her parents were born in undivided India. Let me solve some examples and let me ask question from you. You have to tell me whether this person is PIO or not. Mr. X, born in Kerala in 1981. Can you tell me whether this person is a person of Indian origin or not? This is my question. Can you tell me whether this person is a person of Indian origin or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hurry up, can you tell me?
Yes, sir.
How? How can you say this person is a person of Indian origin?
Because he himself is born in undivided India.
So that means this person is an Indian citizen by default.
Yes, sir.
So why will I check whether this person is of Indian origin or not? This person is Indian citizen himself. Like if I am an Indian citizen, why will I check whether I am a person of Indian origin or not? I am an Indian citizen, which is a level beyond the level of PIO. Point clear or not?
Yes, sir.
If someone is an Indian citizen, why will anyone check whether this person is Indian origin or not? Because I am an Indian citizen. So I am having main citizenship. PIO is a secondary thing. So in this question, I cannot tell whether this person is a PIO or not until and unless you give me the information of his parents' birthplace. Point clear or not? Point clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
In this, I am an Indian citizen, but जो खुद ही born हुआ है India में, that person himself has become Indian citizen. Why will I check PIO? Mr. Y, born in Russia in 1971, but his parents were born in 1940 in Lahore, Pakistan. Now I want to ask, who is Mr. Y? Is Mr. Y an Indian citizen?
No, sir.
No, sir.
He can be. He can be. Because citizenship is not dependent only on the
Birth, he can get
birthplace.
citizenship later on.
Yeah, so they can, so there are other options also. So let us not go into that technicality. For our course, let us assume that we will check citizenship only on the basis of birth for our course. But in reality, you must know that just because on the basis of birth, you cannot decide whether this person is an Indian citizen or not. There are other options also as per National Citizenship Act 1955. So I'm not going into that detail. But yeah, let me assume that the person is not an Indian citizen. Is this person a person of Indian origin?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Sir.
He is a foreign citizen, but a person of Indian origin. So this point you have understood. Very good. Now let me start doing some numericals and then I'll be having a discussion on your doubts. Now, do you want to note down anything? Because you are saying that my speed is might be a little bit fast. So if you want to note down something, I can show you that particular slide. If you are not saying anything, that means I'm assuming that you have noted down everything. Now, let us solve one numerical. Mr. X I am asking a question. Tell me the residential status of this person for the previous year 2021. Tell me the residential status of this person for the previous year 2021. That's it. This is my question.
Sir, is he a non-resident?
Yes, a non-resident.
Is my voice coming to you? I think there is some break in voice.
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
I think now the voice is clear. There was some break in net. Anyhow, so can you tell me what is the residential status?
He is a
Any answer?
non-resident, sir.
NRI.
Non-res. NRI नहीं होता है. Don't say NRI. I am not using the word NRI. I am using non-resident. So there is a difference between NR and NRI. Okay. Point clear or not?
Yes.
Because we are reading the Income Tax Act and here the word used is non-resident. They are not using non-resident Indian. So NRI can be having different definition. Some maybe living in UK, I can say that that person is NRI, but that person might not be NR as per the provisions of the law. So I will use the word NR. Anyhow, why non-resident? Yes, non-resident is correct answer, but why?
Because he is not satisfying both the basic conditions.
How do we check or solve such questions? So see, what is my first priority? Always check first basic condition. So my first basic condition is 182 or more, which is not satisfied because I am present only for 181. Then how will I proceed? So this is the way so that you get correct answer. In second stage, I will not check the condition. I will first check whether this condition is applicable or not. Basic condition one is applicable for everyone. No need to check anything. But second is applicable for some and not applicable for some. Now it is not applicable for first case. Indian citizen who leaves India, I don't know whether this person has left India and for what purpose he has left India. So I cannot say that this condition is not applicable. The person, there is no information given that this Indian citizen has left India or has come on a visit to India. Point clear? No. Simply the information given was he was present in India. I do not know whether he is present only for 181 days and for remaining days he was not present. Why? Is that because he has left India after 181 days or is that because he came to India at such time that after that he was present only for 181? So you do not know. Point clear or not? Raise your hand if you have understood this point. That I do not know. By having a look at this information, you cannot see, you cannot judge whether this person is leaving India, last year whether he left India or he has come on a visit to India. We don't know because only information is he was present. So I cannot see. So in that case, I can assume or I can say that I cannot decide whether the second basic condition is applicable or not. And if nothing is available or when you cannot decide, what you have to assume that you will apply. This is the general rule. If you cannot read the provisions, or if you cannot apply the provision, that means you follow that provision. It's simple. So when I read, so when I decided that yes, second basic condition I will apply, then I will apply the condition. So 60 days or more clear, but last 4 years is total is how much? 300. 60 days, but not 65. So I can say second condition is also not applicable. Now my decision is what? Since both the basic not satisfied, that is why I will say that the person is non-resident for the previous year 2021 or assessment year 21-22. Please raise your hand if the point is clear. I am saying that both the basic conditions are not satisfied. Getting answer is not the target. Speaking correct thing should be the target. Answer depends on situation, so you cannot be having single answer for all the situations. So the point is, I applied both the basic conditions and I found that none of the basic condition was satisfied. So that is why I'm saying that the person is a non-resident. Yeah, I applied second basic condition because of insufficient information. I do not know exactly when that person has come on a visit or when that person has left, and if left for what purpose, so that I don't know. So I applied second also. In any question for any level, whenever you cannot read or apply the exceptions, you assume that you will apply the conditions. It's not only about income tax, it's for any subject at any level. Now next example, another example. Now this example I will make, which will be comprehensive. And I'm sure that you will be able to answer it, though I will make it a little bit technical. Mr. X, a foreign citizen, in this question, can you tell me the residential status? What is the residential status of previous year 2021? Can you tell me the residential status? Take your time, be slow, and then try to tell.
So non-resident.
Why?
So firstly, he doesn't meet the first criteria. He didn't live here for 182 days or more.
How many days? For how many days he stayed in India?
178.
How you have computed? How many days of October you have taken?
29.
Yes, date of coming and date of leaving. Both the dates should be treated as the person is present. October, November, December, Jan, Feb. Feb is not a leap year. Okay, it is Feb 21. Had it been Feb 2020, it would have been a leap year. And March days. So how many days total?
179.
179. It's not 178, it is 179. First thing. Now I am not present for 182 days or more. So my first basic not satisfied. Now can I apply basic to? This is the main question. Can I apply basic to?
No, sir, because it states that it is not applicable on people of Indian origin who come on a visit.
Yes, so I cannot apply second basic. That you must remember. I cannot apply basic number 2 is not applicable. You cannot apply basic condition number 2. It's not applicable because a PIO has come on a visit to India during the year. So you cannot read this basic 2. You have only decision to be taken on the basis of basic condition number 1, which is not satisfied. The person is non-resident. Please raise your hand if the point is clear. Hurry up, please, if the point is clear. Any doubt you ask? Next example. Example 3. Same example with one change. Same example 2 with one change. That he came on 27th September. Two 2020 instead of 3rd October. That is the only change. Now you tell me the answer. That is the only change. Will the answer remain same or will the answer change?
So
Hurry up.
a resident.
Residence.
Resident, why?
So the first basic condition is met.
But will I check first basic condition? He is coming on a visit to India.
So
A PIO is coming on a visit to India. Will I check first basic?
Isn't the exception on situation 2?
Not situation 2, exception 2.
The basic
Sorry, condition 2.
situation 2.
In this case, how many number of days will become? September 27, 28, 29, 30, 4 days of September, October, November,
185 days.
December, Jan, Feb, March. How many days?
187.
So basic condition 1 is fulfilled. Don't get confused that since the PIO has come on a visit, I will not, this visit is altogether exempted. Answer is no. The moment it exceeds 181 days, the moment it has become 182 days, then basic condition number 1 will be fulfilled, and it does not matter then whether that was a visit or not. So basic condition number 1 is satisfied. The person is R. I cannot decide in this question whether the person is ROR or RNOR because I need some additional conditions also, which I have not yet discussed. So that is pending, but yes, this person is a resident. That's all for today's lecture. Now, let me show you the act so that you know that what you have been taught today by me. In your website, open the website income tax in your phone. You please open the website incometaxindia.gov.in. Please open it. On your mobile phones, if you have a laptop, open the website incometaxindia.gov.in. Open on that website Act. Open on that website Income Tax Act, and then open section 6. Hurry up. Hurry up. See section 6 so that you get to know that what we have studied today. Anyone who has opened section 6 from the website of Income Tax Department? Try it. Open the website incometaxindia.gov.in. Acts, Income Tax Act 1961, Section 6. And please raise your hands, those who have opened it. The net is slow in the college premises, so that is why it is taking some time. Can you see this? Is something has come on your screen? Is the website visible on your screen or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
This is section 6, residence in India, if you see. Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
So this is what you are studying. Residence in India, section 6. For the purposes of this act, clause 1, an individual is said to be resident in India in any previous year if he, subclause A, he is in India in that year for a period amounting in all to 182 days or more. This is what basic condition number 1. Now basic condition word is not written in the act, authors have framed it. So you will find this language used everywhere, basic condition. This is basic condition number 2, subclause C in real life. Having within the 4 years preceding that year been in India for a period amounting in all to 365 days or more, is in India for a period amounting to around 60 days or more in that year. Explanation 1, which is your situation 1 exception. Being a citizen of India who leaves India in any previous year as a member of the crew of an Indian ship as defined in clause 18 of section 3 of the Merchant Shipping Act 1954, 44 or 58. Now this will be technical, which I am not discussing. But in reality, when you write Indian ship, you must know what is the meaning of this Indian ship. In real life, we don't frame our general definition, we read the act and then decide that what is actually an Indian ship. For our level as a member of crew of Indian ship, that is sufficient. Or for the purpose of employment outside India, the provisions of subclause C shall apply in relation to that year as if for the word 60 days occurring therein, the words 182 days had been substituted. It means by default basic condition number 2 is not applicable in this circumstance. Point clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Then similarly, this is that second exception. Being a citizen of India or a person of Indian origin within the meaning of explanation to clause E of section 115C. So they will tell you. So how do you check the definition of person of Indian origin? You have to read section 115C, clause E explanation. This is what applies in real life. This is how we check exactly who, being outside India, comes on a visit to India in any previous year. The provisions of subclause C shall apply in relation to that year as if for the word 60 days occurring, the words 182 days had been substituted. So what I have taught you, is nothing but section 6, clause 1 of the act. So I think I wanted to give you an idea. This is how we will read the bare act. I will do simplification also, but I will show you that this is how you should refer it. Try to read it on your own. You will learn so many new things. That's all for today's lecture. Tomorrow we will discuss additional conditions, and we will wind up the individual's residential status. Only individuals, not wind up. It will take one extra class also, more class. So tomorrow we will discuss additional condition. We'll solve some numericals, and then we will proceed to within individuals some 2 exceptional categories. So that's all for today's class. Goodbye.